Today's 917 day deck. I'm here to lessons on learning. I'm learning. I hope this will support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today we'll speak about unintentional influence. Unintentional influence. And we get a lot of unintentional influence from a lot of people, even those people that we love, from parents, from kids, from friends. So today we'll really speak about and potentially really share ideas like exactly what kind of areas that parents, kids, friends are influencing them, their loved ones, in an unintentional way. It could be intentional, it could be unintentional. So number one way to think about parents, how they influence kids are behavior modeling. And there's a saying that monkey see, monkey do. So a lot of times kids will learn behaviors that they model based on their parents. I think this is very, very hard not to fall into that because kids are growing with their parents for a long, long time. Every single day they see exactly the same behavior. And is even communication style is behavior. I learned from Vin Zhang that the way how we communicate is learned behavior. So be able to change it. If you do not like how you communicate, that means that it might be that your friends, your family members, you were communicating in a certain way, and you learn to communicate in a similar way as well. So it means that if you want to change your communication style, you're able to do that. If you don't like some kind of behavior, you're able to do that. So again, it's part of the growth mindset that if you do not like some kind of behavior, you can track somewhere where you learn that behavior from someone else. And if you do not like your behavior, you're able to change that and find other person to model that behavior. Modeling is a very, very powerful thing. And we need to understand that we need to be very, very careful who we model that behavior from. And sometimes we model that behavior and became so permanent that we forget where we learn the behavior. Because when we learn from parents, a lot of times it happened when we were 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and we don't remember those moments, how we learn it. So that means that if you do not like some kind of behavior, change that. Find some kind of model and change that. Number 2 is norms and values. We really are learning from our parents some kind of norms and values. That means that really those discussions, interactions really leads to understand how your parents see things, what kind of values do they have. And at the beginning and the early ages could be hard to have your own values, your own norms. So most people borrowing those emotions, and after that they deny or accept. So at the early age we borrow parents' values and norms, and after a while when we start to think for ourselves, if we're able to think for ourselves, because sometimes kids are still 40 years old, 50 years old, because at the end of the day, we become adults when we really start acting like adults. And when we're able to really create our own norms and values based on our thinking, based on our values, based on our understanding of the world. So that means that when we borrow norms and values from the parents, at some point we need to say, if those values and norms is really aligning with who I am and where I want to go. It might be that a lot of times it will not, because maybe your parents had different time of living. Maybe they had different understanding, different kind of experiences, and it led them to have those values. But you have different experience, different perspective, and you potentially could say that I deny those values, I deny those norms, and I create my own values. Number 3 is social comparison. So that means it might be that you get influence and really lifestyle choices based on social where you live. But that means that it might be that when you look into like how people live, they have social environment where they live, and they start to believe that this is exactly how it's supposed to look like. But we need to understand that social comparisons is coming a lot of times from parents as well. When you're able to really go and explore different social groups, because that's what I truly believe in. And massively believe in traveling and moving, not just traveling, just moving, living in another country where social norms are totally different. Understanding that you need to expand your understanding of social norms, social groups, that you could really be much better in really going to different groups and understanding where they're coming from. Because I found that I lived in 9 cities in the last 10 years, and I understand that all social groups are so similar. There's a lot of differences, but a lot of foundational key aspects of human being is the same. And then I think that when you're able to distinguish what are the same and what is different, you're able to be much more flexible. Number 4 is peer pressure. So that means that a lot of times especially friends, could influence us in a peer pressure, because we have friends who have understanding of life, understanding of everything, and they see how life's supposed to look like in their eyes. So that means that you potentially could get a job, you could buy a house, you buy a car, you get a wife, you get a husband, you have a kids, and then basically this is how the life's supposed to look like. So their understanding how the life's supposed to look like is not how life's supposed to look like for you specifically. It might be yes, it might be not. That means that we're not supposed to allow friends unintentionally influence you to change your vision of your life, because your vision is your vision. So again, that this is very, very important to really reflect it as often as possible. Because now I'm reading a book, Attitude is Everything, and really the question was like, what makes you tick? What really allows you to really work 24/7 and be happy? For example, I know that for me specifically, I love reading book. I love taking notes. I love educating. I love reading financial statements of the companies and really understanding where the company is going. So this is just my uniqueness, the things that I enjoy doing, and that those things energizes me. So that means that you need to understand what you get energized by. Because if other person says like, oh, you are low in energy, yeah, go to a party, go to a club, you will get energy there. No, like for me, it will all destroy energy. So that means you need to understand what your the key areas of life and energize you and go do it. For example, I don't like concerts. I don't like a lot of massive gatherings because it's just not who I am. And again, someone will say like, oh, you're just supposed to go to concerts to really get energy back. But again, this is just peer pressure. That's for them it could be energy, for me it could be decreasing energy. Number 5 is feedback and support. So that means that when you think about really influence unintentional of other people and parents and friends, and a lot of times we'll get some kind of feedback and support, and that of course will be massive influence in our life. It could be the feedback could be in one way or another way. So that means when we think about really feedback, we need to understand that feedback could be beneficial and it could be not beneficial. It depends if they have capacity to give that feedback. And the most important to understand that when we think about feedback, you need to understand that the capacity in that feedback is that do they have what you want to have? For example, if you're trying to build a business, your parents might be not the best feedback if they do not have a business. So that means that feedback is based on not on how much they care about you. The feedback needs to be how much do they know about the topic that you're looking for. And that is a thing, I think that is a massive mistake that a lot of times people make, is that they get influenced by people that they trust and love. But you're supposed to get influenced by people that have what you want. Now, of course, they potentially could need to have that caring as well. They care about you. But at the end of the day, like if you will ask a person who loves you, who cares about you, how to build a business, but they never done a business, they will make feedback, they will give you advice, but that advice most likely will be wrong advice because they just do not know by themselves and will try to do their best, but their best will be not enough. The next one that I would love to mention is that a lot of times when we really live with our parents or friends, we'll be taught unspoken rules and group rules. That means that when you think about the norms that we really explore each other, like how you communicate each other, what is allowed, what's not allowed, how much emotions you're able to share, how close you're able to be to each other, how touching as well, because some people do not care about personal space, some have very big personal space. So norms will be different in every single friendship or every single family. So that means that when you really include yourself in other family unit, when you include in other friends, you start to realize that those norms are a little bit different. So I need to relearn those norms. And every single time when we really bring a new connection, we understand that we'll need to work to really understand how those norms, unspoken rules, works in every single relationship. And that gets influenced. Because a lot of times we feel that other person is maybe not as warm because they have more personal space. But that doesn't mean that they are not warm. It's just their way of showing love might be totally different. I think that there's a lot of things that we need to always reflect when we think about really influence, because one of the biggest things is that unintentional influence is one that sometimes even the most powerful thing, Because support, really, that's probably one of the biggest things that's really close people could do, is that when they're able to show unconditional love, that support could really lead people who have that unconditional love to achieve massive results. Because I know that um, my brother, when he said that when you will pursue things, whenever you will need some help, I will be there. And just few words of that was more enough for me to have enough courage to go and do crazy things in life, to really try and fail. Because I think that friends have, and brothers and sisters and parents has massive power, not by helping people, but just giving support, by even being there when just having that safety net. Safety net is probably one of the strongest things, that because when you think about really artists, when they, or circus, and when they have that safety net, they're able to perform at the highest level without being afraid to really fail, because I know that if something happens, they have safety net. And I think that people are able to be safety nets to other people. And sometimes maybe they don't intend to be that safety net, but that unintentional influence is a massive. And I think that we need to learn and how we could be that unintentional influence, how we could be that safety net to other people, that they could pursue things that really want and enjoy. So I think that sometimes it's very nice to really reflect how other people influence you. Maybe and ask, did they do that by intention or unintentionally? And how many people who have influenced unintentionally? Because one of the biggest lessons that I learned as well from, I was living with a guy in California, and I didn't speak much English. He didn't understand my accent, but back then, and we didn't communicate much. But we lived together for 3 months, and after I was moving out, he said that, I appreciate you that you showed me a different way of living. You read books, you exercise. So because of you, I started reading books. I stopped smoking. I started exercising, and I learned how much you can influence other people unintentionally just by living your life. So that if you really want to influence people, the best way is to live your life in the highest standards possible and show example how everything supposed to potentially could be. Because every single person is able to learn better from example rather than telling them what it is supposed to do. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.